Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Out of the Basement. Nate here bringing you some more figure reviews from Triple Force Friday. Today we are looking at KESTIS from Jedi Fallen Order and the second sister Inquisitor, who is also appearing in Jedi Fallen Order. These were of course some of the figures released on Force Friday. You should check out our hunting vlog, link right there. Really excited about these figures. The game looks awesome. I'm always down for more Jedi characters, and something about the design of these two is just very comforting to me. It's very EU-ish, reminds me a lot of like some 90s Star Wars looks, and I think that's great. I'm really happy to have both of these. Of course, here we go. We can check out the boxes real quick. 93 and 95. There is Cal's bio. You can go ahead, pause it, read it if you'd like, and then the second sister Inquisitor bio. Go ahead and pause that if you would like to read it. We're gonna go ahead and get them out of the package, take a look at the accessories and then the figures themselves. We're gonna start with Cal. Okay, so for accessories, we have Cal's little right-hand droid buddy, BD1, and this droid looks pretty awesome. He's got a decent amount of articulation for a little guy. He actually has leg articulation right here, and then he also has a ball joint for his head, which is pretty awesome. Oh, and he also has little ball joints on his upper legs there, so that is really nice. Let's bring it in here, take a look at the details. You can see the paint apps on it are also really clean. For how tiny this is and for, you know, Hasbro's standards, it's honestly painted very well. Not too much bleeding or fuzziness going on. And there is honestly a lot of paint on here. You got blue on the back, you got some red, yellow, silver. A lot of paint for a little accessory guy like this. And he stands up just fine, just like that. And then we also have Cal's lightsaber, which is a really interesting design. It's unique. This is different. The hilt is very large, and of course it is removable, but man, that was quite the pull. And I like how thick his lightsaber is. It's very firm. Insert cheap dick joke. But it is a lot thicker than most lightsabers are normally, and the hilt is also much bigger, and it has some really nice details on it, although it's just gray plastic. It looks really nice. I really enjoy this unique look of his lightsaber. Now let me try and put this blade all the way back in. All right, and it took a little bit of effort, but I got it all the way back in, and that looks nice. Really nice flush design. I love the way it meets there in that area right in the middle. I don't know what to call that. All right, so here is Cal and BD out of the packaging, and he looks awesome. Of course, we don't know much about this character at all because the game is not out, but like I said earlier, it is a cool design, and I'm always down for more Jedi, so of course I wasn't gonna leave him at the store. So let's take a look at some of those details. And then we'll take a look at articulation, of course, and then do a comparison to some other figures here. So you can see that even though he is a video game character, he does appear to have the face printing, which is kind of interesting. It gives him a more realistic design and definitely makes it look like he can fit in with the rest of your Star Wars collection. The sculpted hair does look really nice as well. I like these little droopy bad boy 90s haircut look that he's got. Like I said, this figure really gives off like some 90s Star Wars vibes to me. He also has this nice vest, which is a soft plastic. Doesn't really get in the way of the articulation or anything like that, except for maybe a little bit on the head, but I'll talk about that in a little bit. But it does have nice details. You got some nice paint variation with the browns, and the silver paint apps on the belts look pretty clean overall. He does have this nice blue undershirt with plenty of details all around, like on his arm right there. And he has a gloved hand as well that features a little doohickey as well. He has this nice belt right here that you can see, has really tiny paint apps on it, and he has tons of tools and stuff on the back. You can see them all over. That looks really nice touch. Love all these pouches. Of course, they're a little bit dry in the detail department on the back of the figure here, but the silver paint and everything is still appreciated. I feel like this is more paint than we've gotten on a majority of the Hasbro figures. Same thing if you saw my Mandalorian review. A lot of paint on these new Black Series figures, and I am loving it. Of course, he even has details on his pants right here, and a little silver bit of paint there that looks great. Nice sculpting of the pants, and he has knee pads as well that look really nice. And that paint does fade when you get down to the legs here, but you still get even more silver paint for these buckles on his boots. So let's go ahead and go over his articulation. You can see that his head can look up pretty far and look down far as well. He also has the head joint and the additional neck joint, just like the Mandalorian and like Bespin Han Solo. My Cal's head is a little loosey-goosey, so I gotta be careful there. Of course, the shoulders do move all the way out, and they work just fine, and he also has butterfly joints. We have these wonderful single-jointed, deep-cut elbows. No wrist swivel, or no forearm swivel like the Mandalorian, but he does have the hinge in his wrist, and it rotates as well. And this arm has the vertical peg, too, so that is a nice touch. Although he doesn't come with a blaster, but he can hold his lightsaber with both of his hands, so that's always a good thing. Of course, you have the chest articulation right here. I never know what to call this. Diaphragm, maybe? I don't know, but you get plenty of side to side, and you move it all the way around, and it looks great. Very nice. Thigh swivel, double jointed knees that work very well. His foot can go down pretty far, and it can also go up pretty far as well, and then it also has ankle pivot. All right, so now that is all we have for Cal at the moment. We will be visiting him again for the comparison later in the video, but now let's take a look at the second sister. Okay, so for accessories for the second sister, she does come with some alternate shoulder options. She comes in the box wearing a cape, but she also has these shoulder pauldrons to give her a different look without the cape. And I'll show you how these plug in and work once we get to the figure, but they're just black plastic. They look fine, nothing special. And then we also have her double-bladed lightsaber, which does not spin. Mildly disappointed, but it's okay. I wasn't actually expecting this to spin, but if you've ever seen the Inquisitor lightsabers, you know that it rotates around. And it does look great though. The paint apps are super clean on it. There's little bits of red in there that you can see now, and they look really nice, really clean. The blades, of course, are detachable, and I like these new thicker style lightsabers. I feel like they are definitely nowhere near as crooked as they have been in the past. You can see that is pretty straight for a lightsaber, and that is awesome. Really, really good improvement on the actual blade parts of the lightsabers. So let's not waste any more time. Let's take a look at the Inquisitor sister. All right, so here is the Inquisitor sister out of the packaging, and she looks great. I love the design of the helmet, the cape, and the sort of pseudo officer design of her costume. I believe, obviously not this particular sister, but I believe the first time we saw this character was in the Darth Vader comic by Charles Soule, which is a great comic book. You guys should all check it out if you have not. And now she's going to be in the upcoming Star Wars game, so that is awesome. Like I said, I really like this design, and again, it's very reminiscent of like 90s Star Wars. I don't know if I'm crazy or what do you guys think, but just taking a look, I really do like what they did with the cape here, how it's already very shiny, very metallic. Did not feel the urge to pick up the carbonized version, although it does look awesome, but I don't think it looks $27.99 awesome. It is a GameStop exclusive, and you know GameStop likes to charge extra for their figures because they're going under. The overall details do look pretty nice. That, of course, on her shoulders, that Imperial logo, that is sloppy as hell, so that's not wonderful. But I mean, at the end of the day, it is Hasbro we're talking about, so you can't really act surprised when you've got some bunk ass paint apps like that. Hopefully they're not all like that, but it is pretty hard to see what the cape looks like from outside of the package, because I usually do inspect and try and get the best paint apps. So let's take a close look right here at the helmet. And you can see that it features really nice detail and a really unique design, sort of Darth Vader-y, sort of stormtrooper-y, somewhere in between there. And it does have that nice little red stripe on the front that is really clean and looks really nice. And we'll pull the cape off now, and you can see that underneath it does also have some really nice red paint. Really nice detail on the cape besides the Imperial logos. And if you want to pop these alternate pauldrons on, you can see that they do have a little nub in there, and they're right on her shoulders here, so it's not too hard to miss. And are they going to plug in easy? I had a little bit of a struggle with the cape, not going to lie. Okay, that one went in no problem. This shoulder's giving me some difficulty here. But you get the basic idea. I think I'm going to keep mine with the cape on. Just looks a little bit cooler that way. But this is a nice option for people who would like the other look of the sister. And you can see mostly it's just a gray figure. It does have some silver paint apps on it that look nice, and a little bit of red trim throughout the figure, like right there and underneath in the skirt area, and also on her hands. Features more red sort of highlights of the figure, but other than that it's mostly just gray plastic. She does have a red stripe down her arm and down her leg. Of course, the paint does get a little sloppy on the hands though. You can see where they definitely missed with some red, and you can see the chipping on the joint there from me just even lightly moving it around. So that is a little bit of a bummer. The paint could definitely be better, but it's also not the worst thing I've seen from Hasbro. So we're gonna obviously, let it slide a little bit. Let it slide. This is, after all, a $20 action figure. You can't expect something so great out of it. But let's take a look at the articulation. Her head is just on a ball joint, and it can look up a little bit and down a little bit. Side to side is okay. The arms do move out all the way. Single jointed elbows that work very well, and the rotation is there. Of course, the hands are very delicate and tiny, but they do swivel, and she also has the vertical hinge on this arm and has a trigger finger, although she does not come with a blaster, and then the horizontal hinge on this hand. So I'm glad that Hasbro seems to be finally just doing it across the board. Just no matter what, vertical hinge. You can never go wrong with that, especially for characters who hold guns like a lot of Star Wars characters do. The leg can kick all the way out, and the double jointed knee works perfectly. The feet can go down really far and can also go up pretty far as well. And of course, we've got ankle pivot, so that is very nice. And she also has thigh swivel as well. So no butterfly joints on the female bodies, it would seem, yet, but hopefully one day we will get around to that. So let's go ahead. We're going to pose these two up, and we're going to compare them to some other action figures. And one thing I should mention about both of these figures, neither of them have lightsaber storage. So that is kind of a bummer. If you wanted to pose them without their sabers ignited, I don't see a way to. So that is mildly disappointing. Okay, first up, we've got Archive Wave Boba Fett and the 501st Clone Trooper. We have IG-88 and the Shadow Ranger from Power Rangers Lightning Collection. We have the Mafex First Order Stormtrooper and the PS4 Marvel Legends Spider-Man. And finally, we've got the carbonized Mandalorian and the standard Mandalorian there as well. So overall, I think both of these figures are definitely solid entries into the Black Series. They're both a little light on accessories, and for my second sister, the paint apps could definitely be a whole lot better. So now I pass the question off to you guys. What do you think of the figures down below? Do you love them? Do you hate them? Did you pick them up? What'd you get for Force Friday? Let me know. Of course, if you enjoyed my review, don't forget to leave a like on the video. Subscribe if you are new. We're always talking about movies, Blu-rays, action figures, all that kind of good stuff. Of course, I'm Nate from Out of the Basement. Thank you so much for checking out my review, and I will see you guys next time.